speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
What is up, party people? Welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Down. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. Ty, we were talking before the break. It is good to kind of look at a night and see all these results popping in. And we got volleyball, we got soccer from last night, a bunch of results. And it's a good feeling knowing that we have high school sports back and the fall sports season is in full swing.
Yeah, it's nice seeing all these results coming in too, and just, talking about all the things going on too with YSN. Power rankings, we talk about games every night, results, stories always going up on the site. Just a lot of traction going on for YSN as well too, and it's a lot of thanks goes to high school sports returning.
Ty, the best game on the network last night was hands down Western Reserve Wellsville. We were tapping it up. We as soon as we saw this was the season opener for Western Reserve, we knew how important it was, and boy, did it live up to the hype. Western Reserve knocks off Wellsville in 5 sets. What a match.
And it actually started with Western Reserve going up 2-0 on Wellsville. They got that first set 25-19. Second set went into extras too, 30-28. Western Reserve was able to pull that one out too, and you knew there was going to be a battle like that. Credit Wellsville, though. They came back one set 3-25-21, really beat up on Reserve set 4-25-16, and then ultimately Reserve was able to win set 5 15-11.
I'll tell you what, that's so impressive because it is my experience, especially in high school volleyball, that the winner of set 4 wins the match 90% of the time. A bulk of that percentage is when you win set 4, you win 3-1. But then if you win set 4 and you go to a set 5, it's really hard to stave off that momentum and win a very shortened set 5 where the start is so important. So Western Reserve loses 2 in a row. They get back up. They kind of dust themselves off a little bit, and they come back and they win a very short set 5 where the start is so important. They got off to a great start. Wellsville tried to come back here and there, but they got the job done, 15-11 in that 5th set. And Coach Hughes starts her era as a Western Reserve head coach with a bang by beating one of the best teams in Division 4.
And you know what? Honestly, you look at this too. Set 2 ultimately became the deciding set, I think. The most competitive set, the closest set that came down to the wire. And who would have thought, Wellsville's probably looking back at that one, there was times we could have closed this one out. We could have won this one as well, too. You win set 2, and then you go into set 3, 4, 1-1 then. It becomes a different dynamic then for the Tigers. So, hey, it's still only game 1 of the season. I think both teams look tremendous. And I was talking to you off air, and I said these are going to be 2 very dangerous teams come tournament time anyway. They're going to be really good for this season. I'm excited to see both of their schedules play out.
We talked about Western Reserve's resiliency after losing set 4. How about Wellsville after dropping set 2, 30-28? That's a tiring set. That's a long, grueling set. And you lose it, you're down 2-0. Come back and just say, you know what? Let's just fix things. Let's put things together and win sets 3 and 4. And even force a set 5 is kind of amazing because usually you're down 2-0 when you lost set 2, 30-28. You can pack it in. That's a tough hole to climb out of.
I think it speaks volumes too on the Wellsville side to not just pack it in and let Western Reserve get it in straight sets too, to still fight back, make this competitive too, and battle themselves in a position to where they could have won the ultimate match. And honestly, that was still a great performance from Wellsville too, even though they fall a little bit short. That's the nature of sports. Sometimes it doesn't go your way, but two really good teams for sure, and they're going to be exciting for the season to come.
Lisa Eichert won Player of the Game. Gary and Tim gave her that honor for the game. She had a great performance. And remember, she was kind of hit with the injury bug towards the end of last season. So good to see her back on the court and shining bright like we all know she can. Lisa Eichert, Olivia Hughes, just too much offense for Wellsville. Watching that game, especially watching the fifth set, I think it was apparent that Wellsville, although they have a game plan in place and they're still going to be a really good team, they are going to first couple of games, they look like they're going to struggle with trying to find that new rhythm with a new setting, rotation. Presley Stokes setting in a 6-2 offense.
And that's going to be it's going to be an adjustment for everyone, right? And that's what you expect too. Early season, first match of the season too. Both these teams have some adjusting to do, and they're going to have to figure some things out. I don't think by a long shot Wellsville is going to struggle this season too. And you know what? Sometimes it's a good thing to kind of get an opening season loss too, to kind of know what that feels like and build off of it too. We've seen plenty of teams do so before. So not a major setback in the slightest for Wellsville either. It's a minor setback. Take this one a little bit on the chin too, digest it, and come back tomorrow even stronger.
Ty, that matchup could very well be what we see in a district championship or even a regional semifinal if they don't match up in the same district.
You know, what I always say too, I mean, let you have your regular season. You can have your regular season matchups all you want. If we can get you in the tournament, that's all I care about.
Right. Or, if we're lucky enough and it rolls this way, it could be a regional final.
And that's going to be exciting, too, if it does happen that way. We always love all YSN regional final matchups. I don't think you can ask for anything better.
Can you imagine after the way that game went last night and how thrilling it was, if that ends up being the all YSN regional final, someone's going to state? That would be the most hyped game of the season by far, because you've already known these two teams and how they match up with each other. You could talk endlessly about the 5-set thriller they played at the beginning of the season. Wellsville would be going for revenge. Western Reserve would be going to kind of solidify that win and say it wasn't a fluke. It would be a big, big storyline if that were to happen.
Multiple
down the road.
Multiple players, too, getting involved for Western Reserve, too. These are unofficial stats, too. They're still confirming things, though, but this is directly from the Blue Devils site, too. You're looking at Lisa Eichert. You talked about her, 17 kills, 4 aces for her. How about Olivia Hughes, too? 19 kills, 6 aces for her. Raylan Myers, 17 assists. Madison Leon, 12 assists as well. So multiple girls getting involved, too, in the passing game. But, yeah, you have 2 girls with double-digit kills numbers. And, I mean, those two are going to be the 1-2 tandem punch, you figure, Hughes and Eichert for the season to go.
When I think what's the difference about, obviously you could have given player of the game to either one, but I think the times when Lisa Eichert stepped up were the big moments. Like, she had the big kills. She had the ones that her team really needed in big situations. And when you have 2 girls, they both have 17 plus kills, potato, whoever you want to give player of the game to. But I think watching it, I think it's clear that when the clutch moments came up, it was Lisa Eichert that stepped up and got the ball on the floor.
For my player of the game interviews, I've straight up said that it's not necessarily if you have the best numbers. I mean, I'll go off of that good amount of times too. If you have the best numbers, you deserve to be player of the game if you were impactful. But there's also certain impact players, like basketball, for instance, too. I remember like Lainey Henning's one that comes to mind for me too. The one that she didn't have a ton of points. I think she scored 8 points, but it's just that lockdown defense on one of the best players on the other team too, and just getting in their head too and affecting a whole game plan. There's other ways to be impact players on teams. Same way with football. You don't necessarily need the most tackles, but if you have the key tackle or a couple key tackles down the stretch.
When you look at like Malcolm Butler, right? Like he wasn't a guy that a lot of people knew before that Super Bowl.
No, exactly. And there's plenty of examples of it too. And that's the beautiful thing too. And I think that's why I love our announcers too. They're all kind of that mindset. Player of the game, they're sports minded too. So they know that it's not necessarily a mathematical equation where the best numbers ultimately lead to most impact, I guess, on that given night.
How many teams would love to have a player have 17 kills and not be able to say that they have the best numbers of the day, though?
Exactly. And I mean, that's literally, like you said, it's a toss up, too, because Olivia Hughes easily could have been player of the game as well, too. 19 kills, 6 aces, too. And it's just, toss up of who you want to give it to at that point. And I'm sure we're going to be talking with Olivia Hughes, and there's going to be plenty of interviews with her around the network as well, too, for player of the game interviews, I should say.
Right, I ventured into Liberty for a backyard brawl between Liberty and East. Technically, the address for Liberty High School is in Youngstown, so you can really call it a backyard brawl. Youngstown East, Youngstown Liberty, and they were kind of coming in, and I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised to see how many really solid pieces Liberty has. This is a sneaky good team in this MVAC grade tier that can probably throw a monkey wrench into some team seasons, because they have a girl named Alexis Muck, who is a good middle blocker when she rotates in the middle. But then, when they need her to be an outside hitter, she just rotates outside. She's a full rotation player. She serves really well. I was really impressed with her. She's like 5'11", really gets up in the net, can put balls down. Demi Watson, who we all know from basketball, yeah, guess what? She's a pretty good middle blocker as well. She put down some really hard hits, especially in the third set. It was a really good serving team as well. Mia Parker and Muck and a couple of others really had really tough serves. They gave East a whole lot of fits. 27 service aces as a team for Liberty.
That's incredible too for Liberty too, and that's just showcasing that you can really pinpoint that ball where you want it to in that serve, and doing it multiple areas too, because multiple girls make up that number as well. And I'm not surprised that in the slightest that Demi Watson, the super athlete, is doing good in something else as well.
Not the tallest in the world, but she's got some serious ups. Like,
I mean, have you play basketball too?
You don't think she's going to be a super intimidating middle blocker, maybe sitting, I don't know, maybe 5'9", maybe 5'8", somewhere around there. And then all of a sudden, her hands are getting, drop the mic. We're good. Her hands are getting like this far up the net, and it's like, geez, where'd that come from? Blocking stuff and really putting some one balls down. The Liberty team has a really good asset in her in the middle. And then when Alexis Muck, when she rotates in the middle, that's also a very good hitter as well for Liberty.
And it was a great win too to open up the season as well. You always like to start off the year 1-0, as can generate some momentum and see where you can build on from there.
The big dogs are back. Big Dogs in the Valley. That's one of our favorite things about high school sports being back. It is the return of the Baird Brothers Big Dogs in the Valley. A little bit later, we're going to go over all the big dogs, volleyball and football, and see who got on this list and who you can go out and vote for. Voting is always unlimited, and it always ends Sunday at midnight.
Yeah, we're always excited for it too, and I can't wait to start going over some of the big dogs of the Valley for week 1.
Also on the show today, we will have Brian Robinson of Austintown Fitch Football, who has a ton of Division I colleges at his doorstep, a very great, talented young man. We're going to talk to him about his football campaign, that first win of the season, bringing in that Foothill team from Las Vegas. I'm kind of interested in what it was like as a player scouting that team and trying to get film on them, trying to get kind of a good idea of what they were going to bring to the table. Were they able to get a lot of film on them? Did they have to kind of guess and just focus on themselves? I'm really interested on what the game plan was for that in the preparation for Foothill.
And I mean, honestly, you look at this too, and you look at what Robinson did last night. Give me a second too, or last night I should say, last Friday I should say. Didn't want to say last Friday night. Didn't want to go into like a Katy Perry solo there, because I feel like I would have had to then. But no, we look at what he was able to do. Robinson, 9 tackles, 2 sacks, 3.5 tackles for a loss last week against Foothill, and that's impact all over the field, and he's got multiple D1 offers too. He's been one of those guys that has just really bulked up in the offseason too. He's fast, he's strong, and he's an impact player on that defense, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. I'm excited to get a look at him this upcoming week against McKinley.
It's going to be your first chance to get a look at him as Anthony Romo kept your seat warm last week for the game against Foothill. So when you look at Brian Robinson, you look at some of the things that you're going to look out for as a play-by-play guy. What are you so excited to kind of witness?
I'm excited to see the football IQ on the field too, because like I think that really showcases the good players from the great, the ones that can kind of read those plays and set themselves up for success, position themselves to make those tackles. And by the numbers I've seen, he was able to do that and be an impact player in multiple ways too. And just doing it outside of just getting sacks too. Like sacks are great too, but I like impact numbers all around the field. I love the 9 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss. I like spreading those stats around and being a true impact player too. And I'm excited to get a chance to talk to him for the first time.
So let's look at some other results real quick from the night last night. It was a busy night in volleyball and soccer as well. We had Waterloo soccer. Hey, guess what? They got the big win, and their offense was really spread out. Kara English had 3 goals, but then you look at it, they had goals also from Maya Bennett. She had 2. Sydney Jackson had 1. Olivia Boyle had 1. Rose Couch had 1, and Kayla Thompson had 1. As far as assists, they went to Lily Foster, Rose Couch, and Kara English. They all had an assist on the night. Grace Urian had 4 saves on the night in the goal. And let's see, Ronnie England, Gabby Gonzalez, and Carletta Henry all had great defensive nights as well. Waterloo moves to 1-0 with the 8-1 victory, 9-1, victory over Newton Falls. They will go in action on Monday at Columbiana before that big game against Springfield, the reigning, 4 times. That's what I was trying to do. They're the 3-time MVAC champions. Springfield will go to Waterloo, next Wednesday. So it's a big week ahead for the Waterloo girls as Kara English and the Vikings venture into a big week of an off-conference game against Columbiana and then a conference matchup with Springfield Monday and Wednesday, but a great way to kick off the season with a 9-1 win over Newton Falls in the other side of the conference. So it is a non-conference game. Newton Falls isn't that great.
Yeah, great side of the MVAC. Yeah, MVAC battle, but just other tiers too. So I guess you could say you're in the overarching conference too. It's like that's the MVAC is like the mothership, and these are just like
mothership.
And then
it's like you're. For college football fans, your ACC has Coastal Division.
Yeah, there you go.
Atlantic Division. So you just have the only difference is I wish there was, but there's no MVAC championship at the end. I think that would be kind of cool. In like basketball, volleyball, softball, baseball, all these sports where the divisions are really split. Football maybe, but then you'd have to add an extra week. That gets kind of crazy. But you add one more game to the other sports and say, hey, we're gonna have an MVAC championship. Gray tier champion versus Scarlet tier champion.
I like the idea of doing that, and I don't know why we're playing opposite day, and I'm the one bringing up sci-fi references, and you're the one just relating sports to other sports too. But it's it's a little bit weird that we're running opposite right now.
I mean, think about it. Like this year, we could have there are a couple of teams that could win the MVAC Scarlet and Gray, but like think about maybe a Crestview versus a Western Reserve, or a Garfield versus McDonald. Like,
I mean, we see it in like baseball, softball. They have plenty of tune-up games before tournament games. Like, if you could just sneak in, even if it's like a 3-set match for like the MVAC championship, because you don't want to play the 5 sets, whatever, for injury's sake. Like, I would just like to see the 2 champions go up against each other and at least an exhibition.
It wouldn't be much different than like the OVAC championships that we see Beaver Local and East Liverpool compete in as members of the Buckeye 8, but they're also members of that OVAC. So, I think it'd be kind of cool to see an MVAC championship.
That would be really cool, I think, too. And I mean, we kind of built up to when Waterloo played Liberty in the playoffs for basketball. That was kind of the MVAC championship. But I would like to have it be kind of an organized thing that the MVAC kind of holds too. That'd be cool.
Jackson Milton got the win in volleyball over Matthews. They were able to sweep the match in straight sets. They opened the season with the sweep. let's see, it was Grace Johns had 16 digs to lead the defense. Riley Headley led the offense with 7 aces, and Elena Lynn and Mia Greco each had 6 kills. Haley, I'm gonna Chuchamelka had 10 assists on the night as a setter. The Jays will be back in action tonight as they open conference play with McDonald. So Jackson Milton gets the first win of their season. McDonald carried the momentum after beating Columbiana with a straight set win over Maplewood. Your scores there 25-12, 25-16, 25-11 in 3 straight sets. Gianna Constantino led the Blue Devils offense with double-digit kills, finishing with 10. Maria Razil had 8 kills on the night. Megan Klockner set up the offense with 26 assists, and Razil led the defense with 13 digs. So Razil close to a double-double, 8 kills, 13 digs. McDonald 2-0 on the year. They will host Jackson Milton tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting too. As another game going on the network too that we're going to be seeing. Maybe on the network. I shouldn't say not on the network, but we have plenty of games on the network tonight. But another game going on around the network coverage too tonight.
Boardman soccer went 2-0 against South Range in boys and girls action. The girls won 2-0 over South Range, and it was their first win of the season. They tied Hoover over the weekend, scoreless tie over Hoover. The goals for the Spartans were scored by Sarah Blasco and Ava Freeborough. That moved the Spartans to 1-0-1 in the season. They will have their first road test on Wednesday as they travel to Marlington to take on the Dukes. Kickoff is 7 o'clock. On the boys' side, they beat South Range 3-0. It was 2 second-half goals by, I heard Romo say it, and I'm still going to botch the name, and I apologize. But it was Sava Kernjak. I hope that's right. As he got 2 second-half goals to lead the Spartans to a 3-0 victory over South Range. So Boardman soccer goes 2-0 against South Range on the boys and girls side, as both those teams look to have really impressive seasons this year. Boys were at South Range, girls were in Boardman, so that's how they were able to do that. So big night on the network for all those teams, and we have more results coming in late this morning that we will get up as soon as possible.
Yeah, we love seeing these sports going in full swing too, and having sports all over the network too, of volleyball, soccer, and then of course football too that has been going on. And we're getting ready for week 2 already. It's unbelievable how fast it is.
Don't want to forget about our good friend and our teammate Noah Ricks, who was down in Salem last night for Howland, traveling to Salem and volleyball. And Howland swept the Quakers with the final set scores being 25-18, 25-15, 25-16. And I was surprised that was a pretty late volleyball game. I think the JV must have gone a little bit late. He didn't send that final set score until about 9:30, which is pretty late for volleyball.
Yeah, I mean, it might have went into to late times for JV too. They usually don't. They usually go in about 45 minutes to an hour and a half kind of range too, depending on where it is. But hey, if you're going into extras too and you can't decide it too, you got to win by 2 at the end. You could see battle.
By 2. It might be 3 sets, but you can have a real competitive JV game really eat up your night real quick. Like if it's like set 1 is 25-23, and then I've seen set 2 go into extras, and then set 3 go into extras, and you're sitting there, you're at like an hour and a half or an hour and 45-minute JV game just waiting for the varsity to start.
Yeah, and like I said, it usually is like 45 minutes to an hour and a half at max, but sometimes it can extend past that hour and a half time limit, and it's like, wow, once it does.
Yeah, that's impressive. Other result that we got from yesterday, as it was yesterday morning, we got this result, so we wanted to share it. As it went up on the website after our show, it was Mineral Ridge Golf getting the win over Jackson Milton. And Mineral Ridge continues to impress this year. We'll give you some of the final round scores from the Rams, as it was the team score of 175-187. Mineral Ridge won. They were paced by Trey Wrigley, who shot a 38. AJ Sandy shot a 41. Chris Collintone shot a 48. Jackson Gaddis shot a 48 as well. Jack Gilly also shot a 49 right behind them, and then Hayden Lengyel shot a 54 for Mineral Ridge. They're back in action today, actually. They're probably finishing up right about now. They started at 10 o'clock at Old Avalon against Howland and Jackson Milton, so they'll see the Blue Jays again. We'll wait on results for that. But Mineral Ridge is off to a really good start on the golf course as they are still undefeated in league play.
Yeah, and I'm excited for this to continue too, just to get some golf scores. And we know there's plenty of golf that goes through Mill Creek as well. Boardman, South Range, Canfield, Poland too. Poland, I can't remember. Is it girls or boys? I think it's girls. I think Poland girls go through there too. And I think it's Boardman girls and boys, Cardinal Mooney boys and girls too. So there's plenty of teams that go through Mill Creek that we'll get to talk with Mr. Brian Tolnar about as well.
We were informed earlier this week that South Range is starting up a girls program. So they have a girls golf program this year as well. So it won't be co-ed anymore. They have enough girls now interested in golf at South Range to have a girls team by themselves. So
we've had plenty of conversations with Brian Tolnar and talking about how it's just growing with women. And it also starts in the youth levels too. Young girls are getting interested in golf as well too. It's a growing sport. And that's evidence of it, I think, right there, too, as we've seen a lot more girls' golf teams getting to start up at these high schools. And I think it's great to see.
Can't wait to talk to Brian Tolnar a little bit more about that and some of the results that we're seeing in high school golf tomorrow at 1 o'clock. But for now, let's take a break. When we get back, we'll talk to Brian Robinson of Austintown Fit Football, and then we will go into the big dogs of the Valley after that. All that and more coming up on Running Point. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players' rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. Call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers.
From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future, where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable, we are close. You call it hometown, we call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell, and we're going to be joined by Mr. Brian Robinson from Austintown Fitch. We're excited to have him on. And
I think he might have one of the best backgrounds we're going to get.
That's a winning backdrop. That's it.
How we doing, sir? How you doing?
Doing great. Can't complain. How y'all doing today?
We're doing pretty well. You were doing pretty well last Friday too. I guess I want to start right there too, and just what it was like opening up the season with a team out of state. What was it like preparing for a team like that, and how different was this experience for you?
And it was crazy. First off, I want to thank God, because without God, none of this is possible. I want to thank my pops. I want to thank Coach Parker and the whole coaching staff for getting us prepared for that game, because all week, whole team was grinding. All of us. We came out, assignment sound, to play hard. We knew we was playing an out-of-town team, so we said we got to put Ohio on the map.
You know, you talked about the preparation going into this, and I was interested in what really went into preparation for a team that is out of state. How much film were you guys able to get? I mean, was it more focused on what you guys were able to do rather than what they do? What was the preparation like for this Foothill team out of Las Vegas?
We were on film every day. I made sure teammates were on after school, before practice. We were on it every morning. Our team was basically competing for who had the most film hours. But we prepared pretty well. We got the Bishop Gorman film. We got another team film, the scrimmage. But we just preparing positional wise. Came out ready to fight, and we became victorious.
Brian, you were getting a lot of praise too for the work you put in the off season too, and just all the improvements you were able to make. What work went into you for the summer course last year too, and what were you able to really improve on before the start of the season?
Just working, like being on. Yeah. Say I got cats coming to the hills. We go to Mill Creek, Wick Park. We'll run the hills. We'll be at the body shop in Austintown. We get in the gym. Then we'll still come to practice. We'll still lift, still have football practice afterwards, and still go get some more field work in.
After that win, you made it a very much a priority to make sure to go to the freshman, the JV game, and the Little League game as well. When you're pouring that kind of energy into the program, what makes that so important to you, and letting everyone in the program, whether they be the Little League players, the freshmen, or the JV players, knowing that you have their back and you were there for them?
Say, I'm a captain. They have my back. They came to support me. It's only right I go support them. If I'm going to be a role model, I gotta beat her. I can't just say I'm one. I can't just say I'm a captain. I got to show I'm a captain. So why I'm the captain.
And Brian, I mean, honestly, too, you guys got a great skipper at the helm, too, and Coach Parker. DJ, Anthony, and I all agree, too. When you talk to the guy, he makes you feel like you could run through a wall for him, too. But we're not being coached by him. You are. So give us like an inside the locker room scoop of what it's like being coached by Coach Parker, too, and why he's such an impactful coach for so many that go through this program.
He's disciplined. Coach Parker, going to get straight to the point. He has this assignment sound. He's not going to talk. He has zero tolerance. We go in that locker room, it's quiet. If music on and we just getting locked in, when he walk in, music off. You would hear a pin drop.
What kind of things has Coach Parker taught you outside of football about yourself and about being a better person than maybe you were when you started in the program?
Just being a better man. Just have leadership role. Don't be a follower. Be the first out to the field, and show the younger guys because the little team they looking up to us.
You showed a big impact too to these little teams. Where did your love for football start? Did you play in the little leagues too? Where did it first start? What's your earliest football memory?
Yes, sir. I was a squeegee. I had the little league. Man, pads barely fit me. Helmet about this big.
Who are some of the players that you watched as a kid and you kind of dreamed of being like, and you kind of said, I want to be like this guy when I grow up?
I watched Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis, Julius Peppers.
If you had to pick one of those guys to compare yourself to, who do you think you're the most like?
I say Michael Parsons.
I like that.
Newer generation, I'm more like Michael Parsons. I'm a hybrid.
I was gonna say you were putting up stats in multiple categories too. How proud does that make you that you're able to contribute to this team in multiple areas too, and have an impact in multiple ways on that field?
Oh, it felt wonderful, but I couldn't do it without my team. It's not 1 against 11; it's 11 on 11. So without them, it wasn't possible for me.
Obviously, there are a lot of people talking about your talent and the recruiting trail right now. And it doesn't happen overnight. You can't just step into that kind of hard work. You have to really build that work ethic. What has it taken for you to kind of build this work ethic up that you have that gives you that kind of drive to be the best player that you can be?
Say, you should know my dad. Like, he's part of my motivation. He pushed me every day, too. Even the days, like I tell kids, even the days you don't feel like it, you got to get out there. Because that's when your muscles grow. In the gym, you soar. You got to push it. You got to bully your body. You got to let your mind bully your body.
You look at this too, Brian. You're a huge teammate guy. You're a huge teammate supporter, and I know that's huge in Coach Parker's system as well. What were some big teammates that had impacts on you when you were younger that kind of took you under their wing and showed you the ropes a little bit that had impact on you?
My little league coach, Coach Leroy, he had a very big impact on me. Since I was little, first started as a quarterback, then I was playing DN. He was like, "Man, you're a pretty good DN, dude." He's like, "Maybe you need to play edge," but I was still quarterback. And then even then, I still talk to him to this day. I still go support. He coached the little Golden Bears. I still go out there. I go to their practices. I still support the community.
Obviously, you've poured a lot of energy into this program as a Fitch Falcon, and because of that, the community loves you. So from your perspective, what makes this community in Austintown so unique and so special to you?
Just a family. They treat you like a family. They invite you to their house. They invite you to dinner. They're not gonna sway you away. If they're going somewhere, hey B-Rob, you want to come? That's what they call me, my nickname. B-Rob, you want to come? I'm like, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I come.
You look at it too. There's a lot of colleges that want you to come to where they're at too. I know you're getting a lot of looks too, and that must be exciting times for you. I mean, just talk about that, the process of going through the recruiting process too, and just being excited to go to the next level too, and what it's like just having multiple schools want you on their team.
Having all offers, it's wonderful. It's a blessing. But I'm here to work, and then with those offers I got, over the platform for my teammates. Because we got some dogs here. We got some dogs here at Austintown. We got Jamel James at running back. We got DJ Williams, Cam Smith at safety. Yeah, Iowa State commit. We got Davion Pritchard. He at 24. We got Dan Evans. He another 24. We got some guys. We got Xavier, D tackle, DN. He a monster too. We got Fitz. He another D tackle. Off the tackle. He a monster.
And when you rattle off all those names, all that talent in that locker room, who in the locker room raises the bar the most when you kind of see them in the weight room and you're saying, man, I gotta outlift that guy, or I gotta push like that kid? Who's the one that does all the behind the scenes work the most?
It was Fitz. But now it's just a team bond. We're all pushing ourselves. It ain't competing with the man next to you how much weight he got on the bar. It's, you know what? I bet you I PR today and you don't. It's like, but we all PR. We all get better. It's about being a better version of you.
What are some of the what is some advice you give to some of the younger teammates now, the freshmen that are getting on this team, if they want to get into the position that you are in now, if they want to find success in this program, what's some advice you would give to those younger players?
Just work, stay disciplined, and stay humble. Like, we got some young guys. We got Alex and Allen Hill, the twins. We got about 6'3". We got Junie Higgs. He a freshman, slot receiver. We got D cornerback, young guy. We got, he played quarterback too, and then we got young DNs. We got Jose. He a quick dude. He a track star too. And then we got Booker. He offensive tackle, D lineman. He worked.
So when you think about some of the dreams that you had as a kid and some of the things that you wanted to be when you grew up, what were some of the jobs that you kind of saw yourself in when you were little, and then some of the things that you said, I want to be when I grow up?
I wanted to be an NFL star. I wanted to be a first-round draft pick, and I wanted that golden jacket.
I love it. I love the dream, and I love it. Keep it big too, man, because I think you could go big places too. I mean, give us a little inside scoop. Is there anywhere too college-wise that you're looking to go to? You looking to travel out of state? You looking to stay close?
I enjoy all my colleges. I'm like in all my recruitment. I stay in touch with all the coaches. I love them all.
So I guess to narrow it down, then to give us a little bit more of a scoop, what is it that you look for to in a college? What are the specifics that you look for that you want to be impressed by for you to make a commitment to?
Just treating like a family. Zero tolerance, discipline, ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing. Gonna be in your tail 24/7. They gonna watch your grades like my dad, every 2 hours. If he sees something like he don't even like a little bit, he'll shoot a text to my watch. I'm like, no, dad, that's not the scenario. I said, she still got to grade this paper.
I like that.
Yeah.
Take us through a typical game day for B-Rob. I mean, what kind of things go through your mind hours before the game? Do you get the butterflies? If you do, kind of how do you get rid of them? What's a typical game day like for you?
I'm on the field at 8 o'clock in the morning. Because my thing is, if they can't beat me to the field, they ain't going to beat me on it. So I'm out here warming up. Then I go grab something to eat. I pray. I go with the team. Make sure everybody getting taped up. I go get my wrists taped, my ankles taped. Be out for pre-warm-ups. I loosen up with the quarterback, Deshaun Vaughn, our QB. He another star on our team, too. He another big part of it.
I believe me, I've gotten a chance to talk with Deshaun before too. He's definitely a dog. I agree with you. Let's go with this final question for you too, B-Rob, before we let you go. We got to preview this game with Canton McKinley. I know you guys got them last year too at their place, but they're coming into Austintown. This is a big game. Call out that Austintown community. I know you're going to need that fan support, but give us a preview of this game and what we should expect against the Bulldogs.
I mean, they're a great team. You know, they coming to compete. We coming to compete. So the best teams win. I mean, we got Coach Parker, and then, you know, he gonna be on us. It's gonna be a great week, and we just got that team camaraderie. If we play how we played last week, we should dominate.
Brian, we appreciate your time. We appreciate all that you do for Austintown Fitch community. We look forward to covering you the rest of the season and talking to you again real soon, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Brian Robinson, what a dude, right? I mean, like, I want to run through that wall right now, just listening to him.
I mean, it's the influence Coach Parker has. I mean, his dad also a huge influence in B-Rob's life too. And I mean, that's the kind of guy, like I said too, he's one of those stand-up guys, one of those teammates, and you can see why he's a captain as well, and the influence he could have on other teammates as well. You talk about it, 8 a.m. working on the field too. I love that. I love that kind of mental advantage too. And that's what some of those best athletes have too, is the ways they can be mentally ahead of their competition.
I gotta leave in the interview with that gym. If they don't beat me to the field, they're not gonna beat me on it. Like, I love that. Like, let's go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I want to see them play. They play Foothill next year. B-Rob's out there in Vegas, 8 a.m.
Vegas at 8
Yeah,
a.m.
he gets that flight to Vegas. He is no, I love the guy too, and I mean I love the support he gives to the community too. I thought that was great. I know we shared it as well. I thought it deserved to be shared, going out to all those games, supporting the young football stars, because I mean, like I said too, and talking with him, he was there at one point too, and someone inspires you, and just getting that support from those older players, it can really do a lot for a younger football player's career too, and keep them invested in the sport even too, and make them want to strive to get to that varsity level for sure.
You know, a lot of people that are, go in to be a leader or trying to be a leader, trying to learn how to be a leader. One of the things that snags a lot of people is until you know how to follow, you will never be able to know how to lead. And what Brian does really well is he's coachable. He is followed. He does have people that disciple him in his life, his coach, his dad, his family, his church, whatever it may be. He knows how to follow before he knows how to lead. So he has people that are leading him towards what he wants to be as a leader. And that just makes you so much more of a better leader, a better captain, being able to first follow other people that will show you how to do it. You can't just kind of wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a leader without anyone showing you how to do it.
Multiple college offers too as well, and I'm telling you right now, the multiple college offers, it's obviously because of what he can do on the field. What he has to do on the field has a huge part of it, but the character has just as much of a part to do with it too. And I think some athletes lose sight of that from time to time as well. Like, yes, colleges love the analytics, the stats, they love to see the weight, the bench numbers, they love all of that, believe me, but they also love to see how coachable you are, what kind of teammate you are, what are you doing on the sidelines when you're not playing. All those little things add up and become the big things for a lot of these college coaches too, and that's what determines why you get, or how many numbers of offers you get too sometimes. And you could see B-Rob not lacking on college offers at all.
No, and look, there are going to be a lot of guys that put stuff on tape that coaches want, right? But what the deal breaker is, or what sometimes the thing that pushes you over the edge is, what are you doing off the field? What kind of teammate are you? Like you said, all those intangibles can push you ahead of other guys that are putting kind of the same stuff you are on tape. Excuse me.
And for the guys that want to make that next level too, and just continue their career athletically in this sport too, it's very much eat, breathe, sleep the sport, right? I mean, you gotta love what you do, and you gotta go all in and be involved in it. And like I said too, 8 a.m. getting on the field too, there's obviously a passion for it. And the off-season work is also a huge factor into that too. We see how much he's developed and how much he's improved from last year to this year, and it's exciting to see. I can't wait for Friday against McKinley.
He's all in, that's for sure. His team's all in, and Austintown Fitch with the big win on Friday, and then they will obviously play Canton McKinley this Friday to try to go to 2-0. One of his teammates, Ty, pops up on this Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley list, and we're going to talk about here today, and it's DJ Williams that pops up from Austintown Fitch. Let's start with football. We'll go over all the names, and then we'll kind of break down some of these weak performances and what we think of them. And then, of course, we'll go and we'll do the same thing for volleyball. So the names on the Big Dog of the Valley list, we already said DJ Williams. He's on it from Austintown Fitch. We have Jason Hewlett from Cheney. What a return to action he had in week 1. We have Vinny Ballone from Lowville. We have Alex Shavi from Jackson Milton. 7 touchdowns will get you there. Brock Lowry from Canfield, and then Drew DeShields from West Branch. How about that? 2 big dogs from the same game.
Yeah, for sure, and both deserving. And I mean, to talk about all these big dogs, I mean, you could have taken your pick too with the running backs as well for Austintown. DJ Williams, Jamel James, and I mean, with also the legs of Deshaun Vaughn, like that is a serious triple run option you can run with those guys too. And just having options of just even putting Jamel in certain cases and putting DJ in other cases too. You have two really star running backs and in those two. And then of course Deshaun's one of those dual threat guys because he was showcasing his arm a bit in that Foothill game, man. He's got an arm too. And might not, I don't know if it's necessarily as strong as Sherwood yet. I want to see him uncork some more bombs, but I knew he had it in him too. I knew he got an arm for passing too. And that's just going to open up Fitch's offense some more as well. But DJ Williams is the man that really helps get it going. Him and Jamel James set that tone. And then next on that list, it was Jason Hewlett. I mean, and the comeback story is what you look at for Jason too, after getting injured literally in like that first drive week 1 of last year and getting that football season taken from him. It's a story that not every player gets to go out on their terms and have a chance.
That's so true. You know, when you have an injury like that, it's never guaranteed that you do get back on the field, and if you do, it's still not guaranteed that you're back to what you were before. So that's a kid that really should count his blessings, and he's making the most out of the second opportunity that life has kind of given him. We might have to make a comeback player of the year award just to give it to him at the end of the season.
I mean, Jason Hewlett, he's going to be huge for that Chaney team. I'm excited to see what the Cowboys can do. They looked really good against Portland. And then, I mean, what was next? Was it Vinny Balone, you said?
Vinny Balone from Louisville pops up on the list.
His stats, I mean,
come on.
There's the stats for the week. He was all around wise. Like you can't look past what Vinny Balone did last year as well. I mean, we knew what he can do passing wise, but honestly, now the impressive thing with Vinny is just he's able to do everything now. It seems like he's developed so much all around that he is such a threat. No matter what he does, whether that's running or passing, as long as he has the ball. He had I think just under 300 passing yards, 296, 146, just under 150 rushing yards, 6 passing touchdowns, rushing touchdown. Like that's doing it all, man. And I mean,
7 total touchdowns.
And just being able to do it with his legs too, adding another dimension too of just you got to really watch this guy as well because he can beat you in multiple ways.
I mean, I think like when we look at this football list, the next on the list, by the way, is Alex Shavi. He's the one that kind of comes out of nowhere. You know, he's the new quarterback at Jackson Milton. Maybe a lot of people outside of the program don't know his name. All he does is step on the field and throw 7 touchdown passes and break a program record for most touchdown passes in a game.
Yeah, when you throw 7 touchdowns, that's serious stuff, man. Like 7 touchdown passes in a game. That's what legends are made of.
This is not easy to just step on a varsity field and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna mess around and throw 7 touchdowns today.
Well, it'd be like, wow.
Now he's leading the MVAC Scarlet team in touchdown passes. It's not Vinny Balone. He's got 6. Xavi has 7.
Which is crazy to think. That's crazy to think. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out. But 2 really good performances from the Scarlet Tears to open up week 1. And then the 2 quarterbacks that battled each other. And I mean, both deserving. Drew DeShields and Brock Lowry put on the show of shows.
They did. I mean, you know, Drew DeShields had a couple of big pass plays. Brock Lowry did a lot of it with his feet against West Branch. But all but one of his touchdowns, I believe, were on the ground for Canfield. So, you know, 2 different ways of doing it. We know Brock Lowry can throw the ball. That's been evident. He's able to do it. But the way that he can adjust to a game plan and say, okay, they're taking away my ability to throw. I can just run the ball. Stop me on the ground. Good luck. He's a big guy. He's hard to tackle. He's got really powerful legs. He's a Division I recruit for a reason, right? I mean, everyone kind of knows what he brings to the table. Going to Indiana, you got to be able to take some hits in Big Ten football.
Yeah, for sure.
He can sure do that.
You need to. You need to absolutely be able to.
Cool.
So, I mean, he's getting himself prepared.
And another game without a turnover. He also, with the system that a lot of people don't talk about him enough for, he protects the ball extremely well. He never puts the ball in dangerous situations.
And that's the biggest thing, right? Is that limits turnovers, and that's what decides a ton of games too, especially
he only had 5 interceptions all of last year, and I think the year before he had single digits again. So he might have like a career turnover number of under 10. You know, I mean, it's to be that good and to not, let it get carried away and put the ball in dangerous situations. It's big time.
As
I think a couple of those turnovers are actually against Chardon's defense.
As a quarterback, when you have the ball primarily too, if you're turning over the ball less than one time per game, you're doing something right.
And less than a half. It was a half a turnover per game last year with 5 turnovers. No, actually not, because actually 10 is just the regular season. They went on to play a handful more in playoffs. So less than a half of a turnover per game.
And that's nothing short of impressive for Brock.
Imagine that. Half of a turnover. What's that like? You fumble the ball, but your team gets it back, so it's kind of like halfsies.
You lost it for a half second.
Ty, last year, every time West Branch popped up on a big dogs poll, they did really well. Drew DeShields pops up in week 1. When you're looking at how we know communities vote, he might be one of the favorites to get the votes in for Baird Brothers Big Dog this week. He's already won it before. I think he won it in basketball and football.
Well, you look at it too. DJ Williams won it as well last year.
DJ won it.
I think Vinny Balone and Brock Lowry also have won at least once. I don't know if it's basketball or football, but I'm pretty sure they both have won as well. So like these are all guys that have won it before too, looking to do it again for another season.
Been there, done that. It's all good.
Just dirt off that shoulder, right?
And then you have 2, newcomers to the list. One, Jason Uhula, because he, got hurt last year. He wasn't going to be on the list. But then Alex Shavi with a great insert into the realm as well. Like we said, kind of a surprise, a shocker that we're a pleasant surprise for Jackson Milton fans. But maybe he kind of comes up and shocks all the Baird Brothers, veterans. Who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, you look at that too. I mean, any given Friday, right? That players can step up, and that's what we've seen right there.
Let's go into volleyball. These are the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley nominees for volleyball. And it is Maria Primavera from South Range who has had a good start to the season. The Raiders are 2-1 after beating Ursuline in 4 sets last night at home for their home opener. No, for their home regular match opener. They had a tri-match on Saturday. But first best out of 5 set game for South Range on their home floor, and they get the win over Ursuline. Tara Lytle is on the list from Lakeview, and then Lauren Pallone from Girard. Jocelyn Jordan, she had a double-double against Perry. She gets on the list. Lisa Eichert, who had the great game last night against Wellsville, gets on the list. And then Gianna Constantino, who's had 2 really good performances for McDonald, rounds out this week's Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley list for volleyball.
Another good list too put together, and it's made up of who's in volleyball. So get out there and vote too. 6 candidates up for voting too, and we're excited to see who comes out on top.
So let's talk about these girls for a minute. Maria Primavera, we know that name. It's been a standout for South Range volleyball for years. She missed her sophomore season, which would, she had a great freshman year. Everyone is excited about her sophomore year. Got hurt, came back last year, had a really good season in junior season, trying to go out with a bang this senior season for Maria Primavera. And she has gotten off to a great start, but it's a name that you kind of expect greatness from. We call her Prime Time on YSN, and Prime Time showing up big.
Yeah, and it's nice to see her too get some recognition right out of the gate too. She's going to be a huge part of that South Range team going forward.
She's going to have a lot on her shoulders as the outside hitter for that South Range offense. Probably going to be set more than anybody else. Probably going to be the one that they go to if they're out of system. So there's going to be a lot riding on Maria Primavera's ability to be efficient and stay away from those unforced errors this year as a hitter.
For sure. And I mean, we're going to have to just keep a close eye on that. But I mean, she's definitely going to be one that you're going to look for that All-Star game end of the season.
That's for sure. I think all these players are going to be looking out for that. Tara Lytle from Lakeview, 15 kills her first game out as her senior season. No big deal. She had a hitting percentage last year over 500, which is just, ridiculously stupid. Just nuts. It's Madden numbers. It's video game numbers. You don't see players hit 530.
Wow.
It's insane. So here we go. Lytle, she had a great start to the senior season. She'll be back in action tonight against Hubbard.
Those 15 kills were complemented by a 75% kill percentage and a 700 hit percentage in that game as well. So, I mean, she's only getting better. Tara Lytle is literally the model of consistency. I mean, just she's able to pinpoint everything. Every one of her hits are pinpointed inside those lines, man. It's crazy how good her percentages have been, and she's continuing to get better.
And we talked about it before. Like, it was a drastic improvement from sophomore to junior year. Like, she geared up and became a elite hitter her junior season.
She had one attacking error in that Mooney game in 3 sets. One attack error in 3 sets. And she had 20 attacks, 15 kills. Like, if you want to know, like, that's consistency.
That's the definition of consistency. And then who she'll be going up against all season, it'll be a comparison in the NE8. There's no way around it. Lauren Pallone from Girard is right after her in the Baird Brothers list. She got off to a great start in that Canfield game where Girard got the 5-set win over Canfield.
Yeah, that was a huge win for Girard too, especially to open up the season. And they really needed a win, I think, to kind of match the confidence that Lakeview was having too. They want to be able to go into that game too, I think, with a similar record to the Bulldogs, because they know that matchup's going to be big. I know conference matchups mean more in the season too for the overall conference, but they know that the record-wise too, they want to have a better record than everyone else in the conference.
First matchup between those two is a week from tonight, Lakeview versus Girard. It's going to be a good one. But they still have a couple of games to take care of before that.
How about Lauren Pallone, just 25 kills against the Canfield Cardinals.
Casual 25 kills.
25 kills too. That's incredible too on the night as well. I'm going to see if I can grab some other stats real quick. She also had an ace on the night as well, and she also had 4 blocking assists too for 4 total blocks. That's, I mean, all around night for Lauren Pallone. I think she, let me see, also had 12 digs, so a double in that case.
And what's really scary for playing Girard is she's part of a 1-2 punch because they have Brie Littell on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you got a great setter in Allison Durkin too. That's able to set both of them up perfectly.
Something else. Next on the list for this Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley, Jocelyn Jordan. We've already talked to her. We've talked about her. Double to open the season. She's going to be probably a Division I volleyball player. She's got some already some camps under her belt from Power 5 programs. Some visits with some high caliber Division I teams coming up. I tried to pick it out of her on where she was leaning. She wouldn't give me too much.
Yeah,
but, I tried to get that scoop.
Either.
I tried to give that scoop. I tried to get it.
They must have added a class at Fitch on just like confidentiality. They're doing a good job of keeping it under wraps. But I at least got to I like to at least get what the athletes are looking for in colleges too, so that you can kind of get a gear of where they might be looking towards, or like just what colleges are going to be good fits for them.
I think she likes the state of Tennessee because I've seen her in Tennessee camp, and she's got a visit with Memphis. So I think she likes the state of Tennessee. I think maybe somewhere in Tennessee might be her landing spot. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see as she continues her volleyball career. And she's off to a great start, like all these players, as she had a double-double in that matchup with a very good Perry team that Austintown Fitch won in 3 competitive sets. We go after her. We go Lisa Eichert from Western Reserve, got the player of the game last night. Big win over Wellsville, 17 kills, as Ty said before. Wasn't even the stat leader for the team, but like we said, had the big kills, had the clutch kills, the big moment kills. Sometimes it felt like Lisa Eichert was the only one doing it, even though Olivia Hughes was out there getting 19. So, kind of like Fitch's running backs, you can pick your poison on who you want to be Baird Brothers Big Dog in the Valley. I'm sure Olivia Hughes will make an appearance at some point this season. I have no doubt in my mind that she'll be on this list as well. But Lisa Eichert gets on first, and, who's on first, who's on second, what's on third,
Yeah, there you go. Oh my God! He brought that age-old one up. That's all.
Couldn't help it. Had to do it. Lisa Eichert gets on, but man, it's good to see her. Like we talked about, Jason Hewlett. Good to see her back on the court.
Absolutely, and great win for Western Reserve. You knew someone had to be featured on Big Dogs too.
They go
against Wellsville.
From beating Wellsville, now they have Middle Ridge tonight in a very key matchup in the MVAC. This matchup has decided the conference the last 3 seasons, and it might decide the conference again this year.
They lost. Western Reserve lost to Wellsville too last season. Wellsville was undefeated in the regular season. So if you want to know the momentum that Western Reserve is going to have going into this, it's going to be great. And then you look at the other side of that Scarlet Deer, another Blue Devil.
Remember we talked about Middle Ridge, and we were talking about like, hey, it's a lose-lose when you're playing Western Reserve because either they're going to win against Wellsville and come into that game with a bunch of momentum, or they're going to lose and be extremely upset and come in with, a fire-hot intensity into your game. So Middle Ridge in a really tough spot because they're opening the season this night, and they have to play a Western Reserve team that is coming off a massively big win over Wellsville.
Just opened up a season. Like Western Reserve they'd have to change themselves from the Blue Devils to the Blue Reapers because they're coming in and just shattering people's dreams right now. Opening season, big loss to Wellsville. They would love to do it to Mineral Ridge, but think about flip it now. Think about the momentum the Rams would have now beating a Western Reserve team.
They do that sports math that teams do. Well, you beat Wellsville, we beat you, therefore we beat Wellsville.
We're better than Wellsville and Mineral Ridge. Chalks it up, we're good.
Oh man, it'll be a fun night. I'll be in Western Reserve. We'll preview the night's action. We have a lot of volleyball on the network tonight. We'll preview it all a little bit later. But Lisa Eichert gets on the list as a Baird Brother Big Dog of the Valley nominee. And we rounded out with Gianna Constantino, who has had a good first 2 games for McDonald. She was a key reason why they were able to beat Columbia on the road on Saturday, and she got double-digit kills last night against Maplewood with 10. So Gianna Constantino from a very good McDonald team who is just in their 4th year as a program gets on the list to round out the volleyball Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley nominees.
And in year 3, they were this close from capturing a conference title. You know that McDonald would love nothing more than to be at the top of that conference. They got a long road ahead of them, but they got a great team with them as well, too. And Coach Klockner's got the right pieces to make a run.
Yeah, and when McDonald and Western Reserve play each other, that'll be an interesting game, especially if the result of tonight goes Western Reserve's way. Or if Mineral Ridge wins, it'll be good when McDonald plays Mineral Ridge.
Mineral Ridge might get wins. They might split seasons like this. There's literally 4 teams that you can realistically say could take the top spot in this conference.
Yeah, they're 4 teams, really. Yeah, 4 teams, like you said, because I think Jackson Milton's going to have something to say about it, too.
Jackson Milton's a wild card right now, as far as I'm concerned. They're a wild card for that top spot, I think.
Aren't we always saying that?
I feel like they all. You look at their athletics, though, and it really is. It's like they usually just come in with some great homegrown talent, but sometimes that homegrown talent takes a year or 2 to develop. Sometimes they have off years. It's like Jackson Milton is a very boom or bust team, but they're a wild card team whenever.
There's a lot of boom.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden they're a wild card team. Now all of a sudden they're a wild card team in football, too.
Yeah. They've boomed more than bust in athletics in recent years, that's for sure.
Jeez. So Jackson Milton looks to be a wild card, but it is Constantino that gets on the list from the Scarlet Tier. We have Scarlet Tier nominations from McDonald, Western Reserve on one end, and then Jackson Milton and Lowville on the other. So 4 nominees from the MVAC Scarlet Tier.
A lot of love for the Scarlet Tier to open up the season.
I think there are some really big, honorable mentions we could throw out to some players that will probably get on the list at some point this season, but didn't make it, this particular week. In football, there were a lot of guys that had really good performances this week. You look at, Western Reserve. You look at Southern. A lot of guys really contributed to the Southern's win. A lot of guys having really good performances. I think this is going to be a pretty easy list to compile for this season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw a lot of big games, a lot of big blowouts too, and there was a lot of big names that were featured in all these games as well too. But it's going to be tough. But hey, they keep on putting up performances. It's going to be hard for us not to notice them.
Right, and it's always fun when we have a bunch of players to notice, and then we're not trying to dig for a Baird Brothers big dog.
For sure.
We are going to take our next break of the day. When we come back, we'll have more fun on Running Point, brought to you once again by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealth.com. Good luck, athletes!
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These 3 values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We broke this last week, but we are officially signed on for another year with Greenwood as our title sponsor. So we want to definitely thank them for all their continued support, and not just Running Point, but everything we do on YSN. And we are proud to be partnered up with them for another full year. Happy with Greenwood. If you're in search of a car, head over to Greenwood Chevrolet. They have a bunch of people that can help you out there. And you can see all of their kind of personalized employee commercials on all of our broadcasts based on, we change them based on where they're at. So if we're in Cortland, it's a different person. If we're in East Liverpool, it's a different person. If we're in Middle Ridge, they have a person that they want from Middle Ridge. So based on who you're watching, make sure to collect all the commercials and see who you have working for you at Greenwood Chevrolet.
For sure. As we always want to thank them too, our presenting sponsor for Running Point.
Who do you have in Fitch? Like you have a lot of Fitch games. Is it Tracy and Fitch?
Tracy Bryan, appears a ton in Austintown. So, Tracy Bryan's a big one that I see pop up a lot for Austintown games for sure.
I kind of float, but I think I get Kevin Lawson quite a bit, and he's a great
I've seen
follow
Lawson a couple of times. He's a
great follow on TikTok too. I want to give him a shout out because he does a lot of cool social media stuff with Greenwood on TikTok that kind of gives you a lighthearted view of what those salespeople go through every day. So if you want some fun in your life, go follow Kevin Lawson on TikTok. He has a lot of fun content on that video, and obviously he went to school with me at YSU for TCOM, so he knows how to make stuff with a camera. So he's good at it. Make sure to follow him on TikTok or any of the social media platforms.
Talk about fun content, and we got the week 1 power rankings to drop for people.
Like we had season, but now it's like we have results that can back up the list now.
Yeah, and we have the overlay too for you, just like we always used to as well. So we could just pop this right up.
Oh, look at that. That makes it so much easier.
Show everyone too. And I mean, Ant, we're looking first and foremost. Canfield keeps that top spot week 1. And you know what? I think it's fair too. I think you win on the road against a really good West Branch team. I think it's fair and just that if Canfield didn't do anything to lose the top spot, other than just walk out of a road game with a winning record, I think it's fair to keep them there for at least the first week of the season.
And here's something I want to say off the bat too. I want to give a shout out to Joe Dickey Electric for sponsoring the power rankings this season. So these are now the power rankings brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. You look at this list. Yeah, I think the top 2 kind of earned their way there. Urson with a big win gets into 3. Fitch goes from what they were 10, they went all the way up to 4. I think a lot of people were extremely impressed by their win over Foothill. Some people had them in the top 2 because I guess because Canfield didn't look star-studded. They still competed against West Branch, but Fitch kind of put their foot down. I think it's fair to say, Fitch is 4, but like I said earlier, I kind of want to see them play a team that I know for a fact is a good football team, not a team that we're being told from sources in Las Vegas that is a good football team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a fair spot right now. Do I think Fitch can take that top spot? Certainly I do, but I mean, we need to see a few more weeks of it too. We can't just be off that first week 2 prisoners of the moment. But no, I like a lot of the new faces on this team too. NE8 getting a ton of love here, as well as we're seeing some features as well as, but to go down the list more too, 2 being South Range, 3 being Ursuline, I think both fair too. I think by how they won, I think it was fair. I think the only reason, I think you just kind of look at the opponents and where they were compared to Canfield, South Range, and Ursuline. The only one comparative is Brookfield and West Branch, but I still think Canfield beat a little bit better of an opponent. Yeah, it was a closer game, but I think Ursuline and South Range both have definite you could talk about them being top spot too, but I think that's one thing that could definitely beat out is strength of opponent that Canfield beat week 1.
Ty, there was a pretty heated argument when discussing this power rankings about West Branch and whether or not they deserve to be on the list with 1 loss and 0-1 record and a winless team being on the list. Obviously, they showed that they belong on the field with Canfield every step of the way, and Canfield's number 1. So the argument could be made that they could be towards the bottom of the list, but then the other side of it was we can't have a winless team on the list. It just doesn't make much sense.
the college power rankings and how pissed off people get when you see like 2-loss Alabama teams there, 3 like we don't want to put a team that's 0-1 on the list when there's plenty of teams that are 1-0 on the year too that could definitely deserve to make an appearance on this list right now with how they had. And I mean, to be fair too, I mean, to be flat out and honest, Southern was getting a lot of love too, and it was actually a tiebreaker between Salem and Southern to get
the tiebreaker was simply Salem was on the list last week.
Yeah, and that was what we went to. But like Southern is 11 right now as far as we're concerned in the network. Their win against McDonald, I think, more than gets them some love to be mentioned this week.
Okay, so what West Branch did do, Ty, is they proved that they belong. Not I don't want to say it because if I say it this way, it sounds like I think they should be on the list this week.
Yeah.
What they proved is they belong to be on the list because they proved that they can play with Canfield, who's number 1.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? So they're not on the list, and there's really good reasons why they're not on the list because they haven't won yet. But West Branch fans can I think they can solidly take solace in the fact that they will find their way on this list at some point because they are just too good to not pop in the list. They lost to the number 1 team by 4, and they kind of went toe-to-toe with Canfield. So they will get their wins this year, and they will pop up on this list.
Teams on this list are going to lose. Girard, Niles, South Range all have to play each other. Fitch and Ursuline play each other. Canfield's going to be playing Cheney. Like, these teams are all going to be playing each other. Someone's got to lose. So there's going to be teams that are going to be moving up and down the list. Some teams might drop off. Spots will open. Believe me, and we know what West Branch did to Salem last year too. If you want a spot on the list, you beat Salem again. As far as I'm concerned right now, that's how you get on the list right there. But have a good week, West Branch too, and you might be able to sneak in week 2. We'll have to see how this week plays out.
Forget the fact that some of these teams play to the down line. Some of these teams just have really big opponents this week that they could very well lose to.
Absolutely.
They're going all the way to Bellevue, which is 2 hours away. That's going to be a tough game for Canfield.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to figure too, if teams start dropping games, there's always opportunities for other teams to sneak in there for sure.
Fitch has a big one against Canton McKinley. Niles and Girard, can they keep their momentum going after a good week 1 performance? It's going to be interesting to see how some of these teams handle, the success of being on the list.
What do you think about the NE8 early on now?
It looks good.
Seeing Girard and Niles now featured on this list. Poland may be taking a step back from what we've seen in the last couple of years, but it looks like Girard and Niles stepping up. And you mentioned it too, I think last week on the show, and when Girard was a team that went to state, when this team's good, they're a really good football team.
Well, the people were they're healthy. They got hurt. They were hit with the injury bug last year. So was Struthers. Struthers looked really good. Lakeview kind of dominated LeBray. They kind of look like they're going to be a team that has to be, respected this year. And then you look at Jefferson putting up more points than anybody in the YSN family at 66. So, yeah, the NE8 looks pretty dang strong right now, I would say.
I think I'm excited for it, too. I think you got to honestly look at, when Girard plays South Range this year, I think it's going to be fun. I think last year, too, 41-14, but like you said, they were hurt at that point in the season. I think this is a Girard team that can keep up a little high-volume scoring, and I think they can definitely compete with the Raiders on the field.
When you look at the NE8 and you say their last-place team last year just beat a 1 seed from last year, 34-7.
Yeah, it's a great conference, man.
Right, they're going to beat each other up though. To your credit, it's going to be like the SEC in football, and that no coincidence that Girard uses an SEC logo. So it's going to be like the SEC in football. They're just going to beat each other up all season.
We know Jefferson too is going to be in their swan song season of the NE8. They want to go out on a bang and not going to be out of YSN's coverage though. And we understand too, because Jefferson's always kind of been that team that's like the hour and a half drive away too. So I think we more than get Jefferson kind of wanting to be with closer teams too, but we're excited to still keep him in the coverage map. But Coach Hanna, like he said, it's one of those premier conferences of football too, and he wants to have a good showing in it too and show that they could compete with these NE8 teams.
Okay, Ty, so here's the biggest question that we have, the big question I have before we let this conversation slide off. If all these teams win in week 2, everyone's 2-0, and other teams win, of course, who is the one team that could move even though they're 2-0? What movement could you see if every team wins? Or could you see some movement? Like, if Fitch wins this week, does that win propel them up into the top 3? If Ursuline, South Range, and Canfield all win as well, how do you judge, Can McKinley against a university school that South Range is going up to play? Even though I think University is actually Division 2, they're a big school, but football wise, you look at that game and you think South Range is probably on paper a lot better than University. So how do you gauge that win? Ursuline.
It's tough because, like, if you're honestly looking, if the top 4 teams all win, like, I hate to say it, South Range has probably the team where they're going in like a favorite. Every other team's kind of 50-50 because Ursuline's Padua, Franciscan, Canfield's Bellevue, Fitch is Canton McKinley. All those teams, very good teams that definitely seems like these are 50-50 games. I feel like South Range, not that University School's terrible, but I feel like South Range has a favorite going into this week.
I guess here's the question. If the top 4 all win, does South Range drop to 4 and
they could. And
Ursuline or Fitch go up to 2 and 3?
And it's not a knock against South Range. It's just how the power rankings work sometimes. Strength of schedule for a week can really bite you, and it can boost you certainly for a week-to-week power ranking. But if everyone
be a riot. There would be a riot in Canfield if that happens, though.
there might be. You can't keep us at 4 and Canfield at 1.
It's going to be like all the Raider mascots get together like that. This is SportsCenter commercial with Andrew McCutcheon.
Well, I tell you what, if Cheney puts up another defensive performance, the Cheney's over here saying we allowed 2 points. Like,
it was a fourth quarter safety.
Yeah, we allowed 2 points.
We shut out Poland's offense. Let's just be real.
But let's see what Cheney does this week too. I'm excited to see because Cheney is one of those teams that I think is also very capable of taking top spot in this power ranking at some point. They're going to be really good this season, I feel. Their next opponent too at Boardman, so on the road against another really good team. Their first 3 games are all on the road.
Boardman's defense is going to put on a show.
How about
this? Really tough against Mooney.
This is the road trip though. Like if Cheney gets, I didn't even realize this. I want to double check and go over Cheney's schedule again. Poland, Boardman, Mooney, first 3 games all on the road. Then they got Marlington, Canfield, Ursuline, Harvey at home. They're at Howland, and then they're home for Harding and home for East. And of course, East and Harding share that field, or East and Cheney share Rain Stadium. But 6 home games on the docket for Cheney this year, and that's always nice to see as well. But they're doing all the road games, 3 of the 4 happening in 3 weeks consecutively.
How about that? The schedule worked out that they have 4 road games, and 3 of them are in the first 3 weeks. So you finish the last 7 weeks of the season are going to be 6 of them at home.
And they're playing Boardman and Mooney, and Boardman and Mooney just played each other, and both defenses looked really good. Right. I'm excited to see this Cheney defense going up. Like, these might be your old school ground and pound defensive slobber knockers that we're going to see from these 2 teams.
I say, okay, Cheney, you put up 34 against a Poland defense that was trying to replace a lot of players. Now can you put up 34 against Boardman, who looked like a legitimate defensive threat this week?
Because let's be real, Boardman is another team that you got to talk about that wants to be on this power ranking as well. This is going to be a great game, and this is going to be a great test for Cheney as well, I think.
Boardman wins. Do they muscle their way in the list?
They might be able to. You beat top 5 team. It depends on how you win, but I think that win would certainly, because they'd be 2-0 then on the season as well. And then a team like Salem, Niles, those bottom teams are in danger.
You said how they win. So Ty, here's what my question: how much do they have to win by to say they're guaranteed a spot? Like, no matter what happens, they won, so they have to get, like, would it have to be a blowout for that to happen in your mind? Or would you say like a 14-point win?
I was thinking like the first thing came to mind was 2 scores, like 14-point win against Cheney, convincing enough win where if it's like a 35-21 win where it's like you convincingly beat them, I think that should be a pretty eye-opening win for Boardman then against a Cheney team that's been solely highly touted.
So you're saying on Running Point right now that if Boardman wins by 2 scores, they are going to be on your voting list for next week's Power Rankings.
For sure.
Guaranteed it.
I will. I'll put that. Yeah, I'll put that on the book right there. I'll find a spot for Boardman on my list then if they beat them by 2 or more scores.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, well, go on. Take a screenshot. I'll put Boardman on the list. I don't know why you think like I'm shy to put Boardman on a list.
You've squirreled out of picks before.
Squirreled out of picks.
I think I've been told that you've changed last year. You changed some of your picks on when you came on the Power Hour. That you picked a different team than you did on Running Point.
When did that happen?
You've been exposed.
When did that? Yeah, show the exposure. I'm hearing it a claim. When did that happen?
I'm gonna dig through. There was a rumor floating around, Ty, that you changed your picks.
Yeah.
So
a pick changer. No, you can.
It's all in good fun, Ty. We're just messing with you.
It should be a fun week, though. I think it should be defensive battles too for the rest of the season with the schedule that Chaney has ahead of him as well.
This is a busy week of football. You look at the schedule that we have. We have over 25 games on the network on Friday night. But we do want to update. We will not be at the Bellevue game for restrictions that Bellevue has put on that broadcast. So we apologize for any inconvenience that causes for Canfield fans. We know it's a 2-hour drive, and they were kind of hoping we'd be able to broadcast that. We wanted to, but some restrictions placed by Bellevue's, on Bellevue's side has blocked that game from our coverage map. But you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 28 games on the network Friday. We can tell you that Union Area and Mohawk has been canceled for Friday because it is red and it says cancel on our sheet. So that game will not be happening on Friday.
Should be a fun Friday still, though. I mean, we got
an audible call, 25 games to choose from with Mike Ackelson, brought to you by WRL's Wealth Advisors.
We love it. We love it. We love a fun football Friday too, filled with games too, and we can't wait for the next Friday, week 2 of the season to start. Plenty of big games on the docket. Plenty of teams looking with revenge on their mind. Plenty of teams looking to go 2-0. So it's exciting to see.
All right, one of these games that pops up, Ty, you might not think is a YSN matchup. You have Orange from Cleveland going to Middle Ridge, but we announced this morning that we have officially signed the Orange Lions out of Cleveland. Boom, there it is. We have Orange, and maybe I should have worn some orange today.
Yeah,
I got some orange over there at least. There's some orange on the wall over there.
Welcome.
But we do have Orange, and that they are now a proud member of the YSN family. They will make their YSN debut this week when they travel to Middle Ridge.
Welcome to the land, YSN, and welcome Orange to your sports network for sure. I'm excited to get into this.
Get your Cleveland assets out of here.
Yeah.
Welcome to the land.
Welcome to the land.
They're in the land. They're coming into the kingdom. Since I'll use my franchise's slogan, since you get to use yours.
The kingdom.
The kingdom.
You love it
because they're the lions. They're the king of the jungle.
Yeah, there you go. I guess okay. You found a way to make it work. That's fair.
It's a stretch. It's a stretch, but I got there.
It was a little bit of a stretch, but you were able to make it work. I'll give it to you.
I took the long way around that one.
I am excited to have Orange as a part of the YSN family now, and I mean, just another team added to the community of YSN that's ever growing and starting to take over the Cleveland area now.
Yeah, we're very proud that they're a part of the family, and they will officially begin their coverage of Orange on Friday night as they travel to Middle Ridge in a matchup of Orange teams. Middle Ridge coming off that big 41-8 victory last week against Pymatuning Valley, looking to keep momentum. Orange looking to spoil the party, of course, but now that is officially a YSN matchup between two YSN teams.
We love it too. All YSN matchups mean it's going to be a real fun night as well because Orange is going to be debuting.
So that means we have to get a hold of some orange people. Getting some Orange coaches on the line.
Yeah, for sure. For sure we need to. And It should be should be fun. I'm excited.
Once you sign on that list, it's like, let's go. Let's get you on.
Yeah. I'm excited to get into that community too and start to learn a little bit more about them.
So make it 2 new schools that we've officially added since the start of football season, because we signed Edgewood and we have signed Orange officially on the dotted line, and Southern. I forgot about it. Southern has been a part of the EOAC, and we've been like going to their games even though they're not a YSN school. I kind of forgot that we actually officially signed Southern. So 3 new schools since the start of football season. Excuse me.
We like to make sure, officially, and we get to give love to that Southern community and all those teams.
Speaking of Southern, Ty, tomorrow, if you're looking forward to tomorrow's show, we're going to have the head volleyball coach of the Southern Indians on at 12:15. Robert Chansky will come on, and you'll get a chance to talk about Ashley Church a little bit, one of the premier players on that Southern local volleyball team.
It's going to be exciting in the EOAC, and I'm also just excited to get into the play of what they're going to have ahead of them. That conference is going to be exciting, especially with Wellsville being a part of it.
Now, Wellsville, they showed a little chink in their armor. Is Southern a team that can kind of expose that? Who knows? We'll have to see when those two teams square off if that can be a thing that Southern can arrange. Wellsville hasn't lost a game inside the EOAC in volleyball in a long time, but maybe Southern is one of the teams that can make that change this year. We'll talk to their head coach tomorrow at 12:15.
Yep, we're excited for it. I'm excited to get into the Southern community a bit.
So all that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to take our final break of the day. When we come back, we're going to preview the games on the network tonight and talk about what's going on. We have some volleyball, some soccer on the network. We're going to have some fun with that. And we will be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
It's a new year at Acura of Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi with huge savings on over 350 fully inspected vehicles. We have cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, and work vehicles. If we don't have it, our team will find it. We aim for 100% credit approval with payments as low as $99 per month. And as always, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. For a great vehicle and a great experience, come see why everyone is stopping by at Acura Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting, where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Being able to have success on the football field and the basketball court and just every aspect of, my sports career is now documented. One of the greatest things about high school sports is to be able to talk about it for the rest of your life and to look back on the days with my buddies whenever we had some battles, whether it was with our rival or just another game. And I could go back and look at it and not only myself but my family members, my teammates, and it's something that will last a lifetime. My name is Parker Sherry, and my sports network is your sports network.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online.
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
And on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
But now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. And Ty actually having a couple of connection issues, so we're going to try to bring him back on as he popped out of the show, so he must be having some issues online. But all we have to do is talk about the games that are on the network tonight. We have 7 volleyball games going on, and we also will have 3 soccer matchups along with the Mahoning Valley Scrappers at home tonight. So a lot of action, and it will be actually 11 games on the network total. We'll start with our volleyball matchups as Ty pops back in. Sorry, Ty, I didn't even realize you left.
I lagged out. I got a spinning circle. So
I figure we also just got a notification that we're having trouble connecting to the website. So if you're watching on ysnlive.com, we apologize for losing connection to that. So, but anyway, we have, like I said, we have 11 games on the network tonight, but the show must go on. We will be at Warren JFK. Noah Ricks will be on the call as they host Pine Valley. 5:30 start time there. Ty, you're going to have your debut as the voice of Garfield Volleyball tonight as they host a LeBray team that had a really successful season last year.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to talk about them too tonight and get into that great tier, a little bit of the MVAC, and see this battle on the volleyball court.
Looks like we got the website fixed. We're back on the website, so if you are watching us on the website, we apologize for the brief connection issue. We are back on ysnlive.com. 7 o'clock with Middle Ridge at Western Reserve. I will be on the call there. Big one in the MVAC Scarlet tier. It could be one that we look back at the end of the year and say this decided the league.
Very well could be, and that's going to be a big one for you tonight, Ant.
Chris Sigler going to Columbiana as the Clippers host United at 7 o'clock. That's a fun one inside the EOAC to open up league play for both teams. Jefferson opens the NE8 season at Girard. It'll be Matt Mayer on the call there. And then Maslin Perry will be at Louisville. Bob Burrick making the call for the Leopards' debut of the volleyball season on YSN.
I tell you what, that's a good Perry team. I saw that Louisville team last year. That's going to be a great matchup, too.
Last but not least, South Range will travel to Niles. Ian O'Brien will have the call there as Maria Primavera and the Raiders look to continue their momentum after beating Ursuline last night in 4 sets.
Yeah, and it's going to be an exciting conference matchup as well.
You know, sneaky tie, but Jefferson and Girard, Jefferson's always a team that is pretty good in volleyball and always good enough to beat you if you don't show up. So I think that Jefferson team might have something to say about an easy victory for Girard if you're one of the people that think that it's going to be a cakewalk for the Indians tonight.
Yeah, they very well might. It might surprise some people too. Jefferson always has good athletics over there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they come out swinging.
I know they lost statistically the best blocker in the NE8 with Taylor Skinner gone from that program now, but hey, there's a younger Skinner on that team now, and maybe she'll take up the mantle for Jefferson volleyball and be just as good as a blocker as her sister was.
Very well could be. You never know. You never know.
You never know. The Q, man. When you know, you know. You said it, Madison Perry and Louisville. That's going to be a really good game. Baltimore are going to be on the call. You saw Madison Perry this weekend. Yes, they got swept, but every set was very close with Fitch. I think it was, 25-22, 25-23, 25-22?
Yep.
What did Perry – what were some of the things that they were excelling at in that game that they were so good at that are going to give Louisville some problems today?
I mean, they have just good servers all the way through. They get a lot of aces. I mean, they know how to start themselves and set themselves up for success after the serve too. They're really good at setting up defensively too, and they go out of their way to make sure that no dead balls really drop on that hardwood. Man, they go after it, and they were able to bring things a lot of balls back into play that I thought were well gone and a dead ball for sure, but they were able to get it over the net somehow within 3 hits. And that's the thing. Perry is not going to quit. They're going to battle, and they're going to be tough to score against, especially coming off of that loss to Fitch. You know, they're going to be playing with a little bit of momentum now because they don't want to go out 0-2.
So I guess your key for victory tonight would be for Louisville, one, good serve receive. You're going to have to make good passes off tough serves. And play to the whistle, because even if you think that ball's gone in the stands or gone off the wall or whatever it may be, maybe Perry has a chance to bring it back.
They definitely do. I mean, they play with a lot of hustle. They're replacing a decent amount of seniors from a year ago, but they're bringing back their setter, who was also their top ace getter from a year ago. And this setter had 897 assists a year ago.
No.
It's
she didn't. Shut up.
Yeah. I'll bring it up for you too. I don't have her number. I don't have her name, so I want to bring it up anyway, so I can actually shout out her name as well. But yeah, I was just as surprised as you were.
Some people don't get that in their career.
Let me see.
So we wait on time. We'll shout out the soccer games that are happening on the network today too, as we have boys soccer matchups. As Hallam will take on Hubbard, Carrollton will go to Beaver Local, and CVCA will go to Poland. It'll be David Williams on the call for the soccer game at Hubbard.
Okay,
Beaver Local. Mike McKenzie will be on the call, and we'll have the school broadcast for Poland hosting CVCA.
I was a little off. 844 assists for Sarah Moore.
That's still anything in the 800s is ridiculous.
Yeah, I said 897. I was a little off. I'm glad I did check it to get the actual stat. But 844 assists a year ago for Sarah Moore as a sophomore.
That's
a sophomore. So
she might be able to break 2,000 at this point.
She had 2,121 ball handling attempts, only 17 errors in those attempts last year as well. So a very good setter.
How tall is she?
Sarah Moore. Let me double check for you real quick.
As long as she has the height, she's D1. I don't care.
He said, "I don't care." It doesn't have her height listed on Max.
Okay, you saw her. Like, are we talking like 5'7" or above?
It's hard to say because, like, I didn't see her next to Jocelyn Jordan. She looked.
I gotta line up with Jocelyn.
I feel like she was one of the taller ones on her team, though. I feel like she was definitely one of the taller ones on her team. She was close to it. Brooke Janelli was definitely the tallest one. I remember. Janelli. Sarah Moore is the setter's name. Yeah.
It's a generic name. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find her.
Mohr though is the way you spell her last name. Mohr.
Is it Sarah with an H or Sarah without an H?
It's a Sarah with an H, and then Moore is Mohr. But yeah, she had 844 assists as a sophomore. I saw that number and I couldn't believe it either. No. I shouted that on that thing.
I can't find it. But no, man, she's gonna have 2,000 assists. Because you have to add, like, I'm betting she had a good freshman season.
Playing in the Federal League, nonetheless, as well. Like you're playing in one of the Premier League as well with the Federal League.
Well, I think as a volleyball fan, Anthony has to get out to see a Perry game this year.
It's definitely she's definitely something to watch. I couldn't believe how well she performed too, and I think she had 15 or 16 assists too in that game as well. Let me pull up her stats because I think they have them posted for what she did as well, because she was still big impact in that game, even in those 3 sets. Because I know she had some good numbers as well. So pulling up her numbers real quickly, yeah, she had 3 kills. She had on serves, she had 5 aces. On digs, she had 16 digs and 23 assists. So 23 assists, 16 digs, 5 aces, 3 kills, little bit of everything.
Like, even if you had 23 assists every game in a 22-game schedule, that wouldn't even come close to 800.
And here's the rare thing too: she had 2 ball handling errors, the past weekend game. She had 17 all of last season too. So that doesn't happen too often. So expect her to be a lot more sharp against Louisville, and that's the one thing you're gonna have to deal with, a setter that really is consistent, and that's tough to deal with.
I don't know how far. I can't remember how far Perry got in the playoffs last year. I think they actually lost to Fitch, but either way. So I just did 23 games. That's all the regular season and at least 1 tournament game. That is 36.7 assists per game in the Federal League.
Huge number. And I mean, she was a little bit below what she averaged too, at 23 assists too against Fitch, which is still a great number against a Fitch team too. That's usually a really good team year in and year out.
That's ridiculous, man. Only 17 errors last season.
17 ball handling errors and over 2,000 attempts. And like I said, she had 2 against Fitch on Saturday, and that's just not going to happen. There's not many days where she has multiple errors like that. So I just expect her to be sharper as the season goes along. You know, you talked that up as first game kind of jitters, whatever. I mean, Louisville's going to have a lot to handle. When the setter is like damn near perfect on every time she touches the ball, it's tough to deal with.
You just totally side-railed me with that number. Like, I was just...
I know. I'm sorry, but it was a big number that I had to shout out.
Jeez, 800. First you said 890 something. I was like, you got to be kidding me. No way.
I wanted to check it, too. I was I overshot it a little bit, but I knew it was in the...
Oh, my gosh. She's going to have 2,000 assists by the end of her career.
Probably. Very good chance, too.
All right, volleyball fans, keep an eye on Sarah Moore from
next 2 years. She's got this year and next year still.
Word. That's Division I numbers right there. That's Power 5 numbers. That's anywhere I want to go in the country if I have the height.
For sure.
Which we don't know if she does. Wow. Okay, let's get back to let's just recap real quick because we had that sidetrack moment. What we have on the network tonight, real quick, we'll go through all the games again. We have 11 games on the network. Still, Mahoning Valley Scrappers will be in action at home tonight. Ricky Giuliano will be on the call with Anthony Romo as they host State College. In soccer action, we have Hubbard hosting Howland. We have David Williams on the call there. We have Beaver Local hosting Carrollton. Mike McKenzie will be on the call there. And then Poland hosting CVCA. That will be the school broadcasting that one for the Poland boys soccer team. In volleyball, we have South Range at Niles, so Brian on the call there. We have Perry at Louisville. It'll be Bob Burke on the call. We have Jefferson at Girard. It'll be Matt Mayer on the call there. United will be traveling to Columbiana. Chris Sigler on the call for that one. Middle Ridge goes to Western Reserve. I will be there. Ty will be in Garfield as the Lady G-Men take on LeBray. Warren JFK hosts Pie Valley. Noah Ricks will be on the call for that one. So a fun night of volleyball and soccer on the network. Make sure to tune in at ysnlive.com/live for a list of all the games that will be on our network tonight. That's where you can find them. They're all free, and they're all going to be really good ones to watch. We're going to take a 22-hour break. Me and Ty will be back tomorrow from 12 to 2. We have Southern Volleyball to talk to tomorrow, as well as Brian Tolnar and a lot of more fun stuff on the Wednesday edition of Running Point. That'll be tomorrow from 12 to 2. Casual Sports Podcast coming next from 2 to 3.